What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the session. And today I'm having Hassan the second time. I know you guys enjoyed the very first time I have him on this podcast, and now he's back again to share some wisdom with us. Just pay attention to everything he has to say and listen, learn, and apply whatever it is that he's sharing with us. And today we're talking about so many things, but I want us to just focus on the word escapism. It's been lingering on my mind for a while now, because there are some things that as young men, especially when you're really young, deep down that you're supposed to do something. And instead of doing what you're supposed to do, you decide to go do something else. All right. And to me, that is usually the difference between boys and men. I think a boy is someone that's always seeking pleasure. It doesn't matter what your age is. If you're 40 or you're 14 and you're still pursuing pleasure, then to me, you're still a boy. Now, a man is someone who knows that this thing is pleasurable, but he knows that this thing draws him back. And instead of seeking pleasure, he's seeking purpose. That is me. But like I said, I want us to break this down, look into the things that people do to escape from their reality. Because the reality is you have all these things to do, okay? You have all these goals to meet. You have all this work to do. You need to build, okay? You need to pursue your purpose. But instead of doing that, you look for all the other things that, just to waste time. So I just want us to, look into this. What are the things that people do? Or before we look into what they do, let's talk about why they do it, and then we'll look into what they do, and then people could now begin to self-reflect on themselves, like, am I doing this or not? So why do you think people pursue pleasure when they have to pursue purpose?
For the first thing, I would like to do is just define escapism for people that doesn't know that. Mm-hmm. I feel like the definition for escapism is like the tendency for seeking distraction, basically, right? You're seeking distraction, like as a sense of relief from reality. Basically, like, let's say if you're the type of person, let's say you masturbate, right? Everybody masturbates. Like you do it as a sense to get this relief, right? Basically, right? When you're doing that, you're distracting yourself from doing more work, basically, right? The reason why people say don't masturbate, because all that energy that you're using, right? You can use that and go out to the world and produce, basically.
Primary attention.
Yeah, primary attention, right? But, all right, so what was your question for it? You said,
why do people pursue escapism? I think you're hitting the nail in the head, and I like the fact that you're just going straight to the point, because that's true. People do masturbate, okay, because it takes you away, and this goes to the fact that a lot of people, maybe they approach. I've seen people say things like, instead of me approaching the lady, for example, in the real world, because it requires work. So approach a woman, right? You got to walk up to the woman, and you don't know the outcome. You don't know if she will reject you on the spot. You don't know if she will think you're stupid for walking up to her. You don't know if she will embarrass you, because women are moody, right? And it depends on the mood she is at that moment. So I've seen guys say things like, instead of me walking up to a woman and getting, and embarrassing myself, I might just go masturbate and still have the same sexual pleasure. And I think that is where the problem. This is why I always tell young guys, like, go talk to the woman, instead of you finding that escape route. It's better you get rejected, because the difference between you and the guy who's seeking pleasure is at least you are taking that step, you going there, you failing, you learning from your failures, and you pursuing. Now that's for a woman. I think the same thing is applicable in our life too. If you are supposed to do something and instead of them doing it, they seek something else. Maybe instead of you doing your essay paper, for example, decide to go play a game, because it happens. Like, I have tons of essay paper to write, and sometimes when I'm writing those essay papers, I'm like, okay, let me check my cell phone. And then after checking my cell phone for like 15 minutes, I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be doing this. Let me put myself back to write my essay paper, because I know that the cell phone at that moment is my form of escape from the fact that I'm supposed to get to work, right? So for me, why are we doing this thing?
Okay, so from my perspective, I'm young right now, right? Mm-hmm. So the term escapism is basically being used as a sense of distraction, right? Mm-hmm. And I understand that us being in this state where we're like limiting ourselves from doing more work, right? And it's considered a negative thing, but in reality, I feel like we need that. Like you get that sense that we need that escapism, basically. Like, we need it, because let's say you're working let's say you're working a 30-hour shift, basically, right? You're working a 30-hour shift, right? And you're constantly working. You need that just for your mind to refresh, basically, right? So what I'm basically asking is, do you really feel like escapism is a negative thing in terms of today's society, or are you using it like in terms of like from a young perspective? Basically, it depends on the perspective. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, right? What you said now is so meaningful. When you said we need it, that is true, and I completely agree with you. We need it. Take for example, why do we go to the movies? Because we want to go see a different world because the reality is so stressful at some point, and you just want to go into this movie universe and just be like, because movies like a dream. You're like seeing a world in front of you, and you're trying to be a part of that world. You're screaming, you're reacting, you're being emotional, you're getting angry because you're part of that world. So that's you escaping at that very point in time, and we need that form of escape because it helps us to relax. In fact, Friedrich Nietzsche in his book, I don't know if you've seen the book, it's called Thus Spoke Zarathustra, and he said something. He said, a real man needs two things: danger and distraction. And I don't know, every time I read that line, I'm like, why did they say this? Like, a real man needs two things: danger and distraction. To me, I'd say maybe you need to take risk, and then you need that escapism. But how do you create that balance?
Yeah. I mean, that is kind of hard, because for majority of the time, like from the people that I know, right, they consider the distraction part is the women. Basically, they need the women for that distraction part, right? And I know, like, people hate when people say men and women, like, they roles and all of that, but all of this is necessary in society, right? But I believe that the distraction for a man, like, they need a woman to distract them. A woman love attention, basically, right? So as a man, you need to produce, basically, right? You need to work, you need to basically build your network, right? And while you're doing that, right, you're constantly in the zone. Like, have you ever, like, think about it, like, I can see you right now, you work out, right? You be in the gym all the time, right? When you're in the gym, right?
A little sound.
Yeah. When you're in the gym, you're constantly in that state of just, working out. You're not aware of your surroundings, right? That's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing in terms of business, in terms of building your wealth, right? It's good, right? But in terms of society, it's bad from your sense, because you're not able to communicate, right? Basically, you're not communicating, you're not developing skills in order to interact with other humans, basically, right? So that sense of escapism, right, for us men is women, basically, right? And what I'm trying to say is that I believe that it's not like, the reason why I keep going to this role of society, right, of gender, men and women, right, is because I feel like people don't understand the value, right? They don't understand their value, right? right? The value of a man is to produce. The value of a woman is to keep the man engaged in social, basically, right? And women are that escapism. That's what I want people to understand.
So you're saying, I'll find me a lady that's a good distraction.
Yes.
Is it any lady or a good lady? Because I've been saying a lot of women these days, and man, I don't know. I don't know nothing these days.
All right. And in that sense,
okay.
You gotta know what type of woman you're looking for, basically, right? If you're looking for a woman that's always constantly distracting, like that loves to party and outgoing, obviously you can meet them at a party or a loud event, right? Basically, you gotta know if you're looking for small distraction, right? You can go to, let's say, the supermarket, right? Or just basically just social standard. You gotta know where to meet these women, right? Right? For an escapism, you just gotta know. For a man, from a man's perspective, I'm only speaking from a man's perspective, right? We need women as a distraction. Women's are our escapism, right? So you gotta know where to find them, right?
So, from what it's almost like we have good escapism, maybe like a positive one and a negative one. Now, I think take a look at this now. Look at this narrative. Yeah. Like I said, I'm trying to get my homework done, right? Yeah. And instead of me getting my homework done, I go on my cell phone. Yeah. Okay, wait, I started the homework and it's becoming pressurizing, and I'm just like, you know what, let me just check my Instagram, and then I'm checking my Instagram, and then that takes me away from the zone, right? Yeah. And maybe my plan was to go there for like 15 minutes, and I ended up spending 2 hours. That is one. Now, the second scenario that we've discussed here is the one of the woman being a good form of escapism, right? Yeah. So from what we have from this analogy, can we say that we have one, a negative form of escapism and a positive form of escapism, one, and two, is it that when you can control your distraction, or the amount of time in which you distract yourself, if you can control it, is that a positive one? And when you cannot control it, when it controls you, like you plan on spending 15 minutes on social media, but now you're spending 2-3 hours, is that a negative form of escapism? I just want us to deep dive into why, so that we can become more self-conscious, at what we do.
All right. So with that in mind, right, I'll keep it real. Anything that you can't control, right, it's going to consider bad. It's going to be bad for you, right? Mm-hmm. As a man, you want to know. Basically, as a man, you want to be in control of what you do, right? So, in terms of social media, right? The reason why people hate social media because it's addictive. It doesn't matter who you are, right? Mm-hmm. As soon as you get a Facebook, Instagram, whatever, right? As soon as you have friends start posting stories, you're constantly in that zone, basically, right? That's what I keep going back to, that zone, right? That zone, everybody, you can get to that zone anywhere, right? It's based on what you do, right? And because of things like social media, right? And I know like people don't have this issue back then because, social media is new now, right? But you can say it's a bad, I know people want to say it's a bad sense of escapism, right? But it can also be beneficial for your health too, right? But I don't want to just say it's bad in general because it depends on your perspective, basically, right?
Mm-hmm. Right? Beneficial in the form that it helps you to relax.
Yeah. In terms of like, let's say you're old, right? I don't know what most people is, right? Let's say you're at 70 years old, right? And you live in this 1-bedroom apartment, right? And you want to be social, right? As a human being, we're social creatures, right? So social media will be a good sense for us because they allow us to be social, right? Instead of having that one person there, right? But in the bad sense, yes, you're not going to be able to get most work done, basically, in terms of business.
So let's juxtapose the term escapism in line with realism. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, from the breakdown you just did, you're talking about, let's say someone lives in an isolated area, and one way for them to connect is social media, right? How much of social media should they use to connect with the world around them? Or should they just go out and just take a walk and feel the fresh air and talk to real human beings and just leave the social media for a second?
All right. So with that in mind, right, this is what people got to understand, right? Reality happens outside. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So every time you're in social media and you're looking through your phone, you're taking a pause through reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're pausing your reality, but you're not stopping time. You know, everybody knows time keep going, right? But life happens outside, right? So this is what people need to understand, right? The more you're in social media and the more you're focused and fixated, I understand some people make business out of social media, right? They make their money, right? And that is understandable, right? But you also need to be out there because reality happens outside, right? So it depends on what you're into for. That's what I
So still looking at this word, the topic that we've been discussing so far. Now we have people who go on social media, okay? And their form of escapism now is, man, I'm looking at this person's profile. Look at this dude, man. We're in the same class, the same school, the same age, and he's always with, you know, a bundle of $100 bills with gold chain, is driving like a Lamborghini, and people are looking at that lifestyle. All right, and they start comparing themselves. That is them now moving away from the reality, moving from realism to escapism. Now they don't know what this guy is doing, but they desperately want what this person wants.
Yeah, I
comparing
understand.
themselves.
Yeah, but I feel like, that is a sense of escapism. That is true, right? But I feel like that from that 10 is just seeking attention, right? Because escapism, yes, it's part, like seeking attention is part of it, right? That's one path of it, right? But I feel like, because like the people that you're describing, right, are individuals that are basically comparing their reality, they're comparing their lifestyle to other people, right? And when you do that, you always lose, right? This is what people don't realize. When you do that, you always lose because you're constantly in the state of paranoia, right? You're in the state of paranoia. You're constantly thinking that you need to do more, basically, right? But that's the attention side of escapism. That's what I want people to understand, right? The reason why I want to separate the two, because escapism by itself, right, is a sense of getting distraction, right? And that distraction can be good or bad based on your subjective, basically your point of view, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring this down to the Godfather, Kevin Samuel, the Godfather. Undefeated.
Everybody loves him.
Yeah, you know, man, he's doing God's work right now. Yeah. So, I was on his channel, his most recent video, and he was talking about, are you serious? Okay. And one of the things that, you know, he was asking ladies, like, how serious are you? And we've seen countless number of women come on Kevin Samuel's show. And do you think that, okay, let's talk about Kevin Samuel. Okay, one, Kevin Samuel's goal, his major goal is to help this woman set realistic standards. Because when he asks them, what do you want? I want a high value man. What do you want? I want him to earn 6 figures. Those are two things they say. They don't say any other thing. Forget about, they just want to see a high value man earning 6 figures. And it's like, and the
height too, and the height too.
And it's like, miss, the state you're living in right now It's only about 1% of guys that earn six figures there. And they're like, but that's what I want. And Kevin will be like, it's not what you want, it's what you can get.
Yeah.
You know? Now, tying it to what we've been talking about, could this be that a lot of these women spend so much time on social media and they've seen what other women have, and that is their form of escapism, right? But now they want what they have so desperately that they think it's either they have a guy that earns six figures so they can go, they could live the life that they see on social media, or they just keep wondering about, you know?
I mean, I have a rebuttal to that, right? What people don't realize, you don't have to meet, the term six figures is now actually being brought up now. Like, you know, you constantly see the term now. But back then, right, people didn't worry about that, right? The term six figures, right? I hear people saying, oh, I want to, like, especially women, right? I want a six-figure earning man, right? They have to have this, they have to have that, right? But my only thing is, when it comes to that, right, while you're doing that, right, you're taking your time away from, like, your perspective, your reality, basically, right? Right? You're focusing on the other people's reality, right? When people say, hey, I want a six-figure person, right? The main thing I say is, right, what can that six-figure man, right, bring to you, right, that $70,000 earning man can, like, what can he bring? That $50,000 earning man can. What he can bring, basically. The only reason why I believe women are saying six figures, right, is mainly a sense of distraction, right?
Because they've seen it.
Yes. Right? It's a sense of distraction, right? And what people don't realize is, right, you cannot truly make a woman satisfied, right?
You can't even make anyone satisfied.
Nah,
even a man.
I really mean it when it comes to a woman, right? Because
that's true.
Think about it. Going back to that topic that we had previously, right? Bill Gates, right? He's making billions and billions of dollars, yet his wife still divorced him. If a billionaire, right, can't keep his woman, if a billionaire can't make a woman satisfied, right, what does a six-figure man carry?
That's a good question.
That's what people don't realize, right? Right? In terms of this topic, escapism, right? Yes, in social media, right? Social media, I always like to say society, right? Society teach women they need to get these high earning men, right? These six-figure men, right? Earning all of this, right? All of this money, right? As a sense of escapism for them, right? Right? But because of that, they tend to ignore reality, which is most men are earning like about what, 42,000?
40 to 60,000 a year.
40 to 60,000, right? And because of that, that's just a trap that I believe society is doing to people, right?
Yeah. So
that's the escapism.
It's almost like the way the paint is now, it's almost like if a woman is dating an average man or low value man, she's a failure. That's almost how the paint is now. So I'm like, in the most recent, I think 2 shows before the last shows, and Kevin Samuel was asking this lady, okay, how much does your father make? She said, my father earns $50,000. And he was like, would you date a man like your dad? And the lady said, no. And everyone was like, wow, you just disrespected your dad.
That's the thing.
Like, you wouldn't date a man like your dad. In fact, that was, usually Kevin Samuel would say French toast. Kevin Samuel was like, what the do you mean? Like, you just shit on almost every man in America right now. It's so, he felt so bad for that her dad invested all this effort into her, and she still thinks he's beneath her, and she will never date a man like her dad. She thinks her dad, she doesn't even think her dad is an average man. She thinks her dad is a low value man because he's making 50,000.
50,000, that's crazy.
So where are we going to? Where are we headed now as a society?
Yeah, I'll keep it real with you. I feel like, I mean, obviously right now, right, we know the women tendency is to always date up, right? That's natural, right? Mm-hmm. Women always want the best quality men just to produce, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Men want the loyal women in order to, reassurance that they see will grow up, basically, mm-hmm. Right? So value for women is getting their man, right? The value for the man is producing their child, basically, from a great woman, basically, right? Right. But this sense of escapism is really crucial because I feel like society has really overruled what we used to know, right? Because what people don't understand is, right, this sense of six figures. That's all I hear. 6 figure. This guy's making 6 figures.
I value man 6 figures.
I value how nobody cares. Okay? I'm gonna say this right now. I don't care. All right? That has nothing to do with anything. That's just a distraction. Okay? That term is just a distraction, right? And that's what most women are pursuing, right? They're being distracted. Society is distracting women, right? Right?
So let's say the society is distracting women. What's the society distracting women from?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
You know what I think? I think capitalism profits from women being single. And the more we keep women single, the more money we make from them, the more we get to use them, the more we get access to cheaper form of labor, and we keep them from creating families.
Yeah.
So we use them in their prime, and by the time they're done and they're ready for family, it's almost getting too late for them. They have the money, they have the car, they have the house, but no intimacy, no family.
Yep.
And that is one of the things that the COVID made the world realize that, man, okay, the world is coming to an end, and you look into your left and your right, and you realize, I have nobody.
Thank you.
I have money. That's fine. I'm getting a job. I'm making 6 figures. But it makes no sense. And this is one of the things I keep thinking about, that if someone like Kevin Samuel is so shitty and is doing something so bad, he wouldn't be getting that much attention. One, all these ladies won't be calling in. It's because that he's doing something real, and these ladies are beginning to realize that I have a problem, and no one is going to tell me the truth.
Yeah.
And that is why they're going on the show to hear the truth, because probably they kicked everyone away and they're so by themselves, and everyone's like, she would never listen to me, so everyone decides to walk away. But someone still needs to tell you the truth, because it's just like in film, okay? Every time we write a script, we send it out to people to review it, and then they give us constructive criticism, and then we rewrite the script becomes better. We send out again. The more feedback you get, the better your script becomes. Even when you edit, the more feedback you get, the better your film looks. So in order to make a very good film, you must have gotten multiple constructive criticism.
Overview, yeah.
So one thing that's missing with women these days is women don't want no constructive criticism. The moment you say something, they're like, no, he's a hater, he's an enemy, he doesn't like women, is this, is that, is this. And now they begin to realize that the society keeps pandering to them. Society is like, you can have everything you want. Yeah. No criticism, no accountability. You can just have it all. And it's all a facade. Yeah. It's a lie. That's the lie that, the society has been using to keep women in a certain state in order to profit from them. And they don't see this. Or by the time they see it, it's already getting too late.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would like to say is, right, what people don't realize, right, the benefit of society, right? Who do you think consume more in society, the men or the women?
Consumes more?
Yeah.
The woman.
the women, right? Women consume more.
It depends
right?
on what they're consuming.
Yes. So if I were to start a business right now, right, and I have majority of women are basically buying my product, right, and I have majority of men buying this product, right, which one would you think will outgrow? The women.
The women, of course. Yes, men don't buy nothing. Men could wear one piece of shirt for next 1 year.
You can wear this one.
I could wear this for 50 years. I'm fine. I don't care.
Now, what people don't realize is, right, they keep saying, why do we keep having this debate, right? Why this debate keep going? Why a person like Kevin Samuel needs to exist, right? Right? That's what people don't realize. A person like Kevin Samuel exists because, one, yes, we understand it's part of his brand, right? He is an image consultant, right? It's like, as the more that he keeps people engaging in these concepts between men and women, he's making more money. Right? That's understandable. This is capitalism, right? You got to do what you got to do to make money, right? I'm not trying to do this. I'm not saying this is to bash a person like Kevin Samuel, right? But what people don't realize, right? People make more money by making women basically in this sense of delusion, right? This is a delusion, right? People don't realize this is a delusion. This is not normal. And they don't realize that this is not normal. Would it be normal for a woman till you have 10 women in one room and all of them say they looking for one guy? They're looking for one sense of guy. This guy got to be 6 feet tall and you're 5 feet.
I wish I was a woman, and I'll be like, yeah, that's fine. You all go for the 1%, because now I have more options. I'm gonna choose from the remaining 9%. You all can go fight for that 1%. Unfortunately, I'm not a woman, and they don't think like me. They want that 1%. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting the most suitable guy, but they don't realize by doing this,
they won't, because the most suitable guy. Now, this comes to the question Kevin asked him. We know you want the 1% guy, but do you know the 1% guy wants something?
Yeah.
And this is what they want. They want a woman that's feminine, that's beautiful, that's faithful, cooperative, and not argumentative. Are you that, miss? She's like, no, but I can do that. No, the way you are now, you're gonna be arguing with people. You talk back. You probably slap your husband one of these days.
Yeah. Oh, this guy's crazy. Nah, that is really true. Yeah, I can't believe this is the world we live in.
Let's check out his most recent video and look at like some comments and just let's run through those comments. Let's see if it's true or false, or if there are ideas we can.
Okay, so I have 5 listed comments from his most recent video. I want to know if you want to go first or I'll go first.
Let me pull up the video and then I'll share screen.
Okay.
Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'll pull up the video. Because no one knows what's going on anymore. You know?
Yep. They keep asking, why do we keep having these comments? But that's the reality we're living in.
We're getting stressed out.
Got 10, 20 women going for one guy. That one guy can have sex with all the women. Wow. The rest of the population, no.
Okay, now you can go first. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. Are you seeing my screen now?
Yeah.
All right, so what comment do you have? Let's just see if it's true. Okay.
Okay, so I would like to start off by your comment that I see. It said, never argue with somebody who believes their own lies.
Okay, that is my comment. And why did I post that there? It's because, one, it's just pointless trying to argue with someone that believes in their own lie, because you won't get anywhere. Okay. Personally, I believe in the game of conversion, that when you meet with someone, what we are trying to do is to convert people to believe in what we believe in, or what, and if you see that this person is so rigid with their belief, there's nothing you could do, because if you argue from now to the next 10 years, that's it. Nothing good will come out of it, because in fact you will build more resentment. Instead of arguing with people that believe strongly in their own belief, I think putting out actions, okay, showing them action, I believe is much more better than you verbally arguing with them. So this is the point where you use your lifestyle basically to convert them, to make them see the changes. So one of the reasons why I wrote that was because if someone is so delusional and they believe that, look, this is what I want, blah, blah, blah. And if you tell them, hey, you can't have what you want, and they'll be like, no, but my mama told me I can have everything I want. Or maybe you're just a hater because you can't dream as big as I'm dreaming. Would you argue with someone like that? You just, okay, yeah, I'm not, you know. But instead, you let life run its course and you use your actions to...
I mean, I totally agree with that, because I deal with people like that on a constant basis, because I'll let you know, there's people, like, I am a young person, right? In college, but basically most people that I know, right, as soon as you tell them one thing, right, they will be like, yeah, like, even if you give them the facts, right? Let's say it. I give you a fact. Most people that cut their hair, right? Most men that cut their hair in business, right? That have short hair, right? Most men that have short hairs in business tend to do well than people with long hair, right? That's a given fact, right? You can look it up. I don't know. I haven't had the specific number written down right now, but that's a given fact, right? They will still constantly argue and say, hey, I still want to keep my dreads, because that's basically from their perspective. They want to keep one thing, right? They understand the facts, but they still want to keep their own perspective, basically. So I totally agree with that comment.
I've seen people with, funny how I told you I ran for president at Brooklyn College. And the guy that ran as my vice president, he used to keep a very long dread and his hair used to be like shabby. And the moment we're going to run for president and was going to be my vice president, this guy just showed up, dread is off, looking all clean, and it looked so different. It's all about appearance, okay? Yep. Unfortunately, a lot of people say, I am who I am. I know my mind. I know my mindset. I'm me. You can't change that. That's true, okay? We believe that. But the truth is, everything in life is judged based upon its appearance.
Yep.
The way you show up, people will just start having notions about you. It's happened to me. I've been to meetings where I was wearing jeans. Even though I'm smart or whatever, no one wants to listen to you and no one will take you serious because of the way you appear. And I've been to meetings where I'm like all suits, tie, looking all corporate and organized and everything. And before I even say anything, everyone's like, yeah, that's true. That's true. Even if you're not giving them the facts. Okay? Because of the appearance. Everything is judged based on the appearance, But let's look at another comment, which I don't want. Oh, well, let me see my screen here. So I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see, because I like when people speak. I like them. Okay. All right, you see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so look at this comment. Everybody wants to get serious after they
Everybody wants to get serious after they've been ran through and they spat out some
Japanese kids. Man, I don't even know what this dude is saying, but this dude.
So basically, I can't remember.
Let me go somewhere. Let me go somewhere else, please. What the heck? Okay. Now, Kemet Azubike. I'm gonna take Kemet Azubike because that name is Nigerian from my country and people from my country. I'm gonna be a little bit biased right now. So yeah, he said the baby mama epidemic is out of control. Most men don't want to raise another man's kid. Marry before you carry. Man, shake my head. What do you think about that?
Marry before you carry?
Yeah, marry before you carry. He said the baby mama epidemic is out of control. What does this mean? This mean we have so much baby mamas? Or what?
Yeah. Yes, we do. You can go to the hood and you'll see, it'll be that one dude that has like 80 not 80 kids, but like has like 12 kids in general, right? And you'll see a lot of baby mamas fighting over each other. Oh, I got this guy for the day. This is all of that.
And what's the cost? Why do we have so much baby mamas? Is it something we could tie to like an economic situation whereby that is what the powers that be want? Because the more baby mama we have, the more the government profits from them. Or is it like this school to pipeline case whereby they keep lots of black men in jail? Like, why do we have so much baby mama epidemic?
All right, this is what people don't understand. That yes, you can have a lot of kids, right? You having a lot of kids doesn't benefit. It's a benefit. It doesn't benefit you. It benefits society. Society want more people because the more people it has, the more they can make money. The more customers produce, like the more employees they have, the more everything, right? But this is what I say baby mamas don't understand, right? You can have kids, right? But you have to put your kids at an advantage, right? And that is the role of a man. The man's job is to put their kids at an advantage. You don't want to have your child when you only make $10 an hour. You don't want to have a child when you know you can't financially support them, right? And this is where that quote is really understood. It's really hidden. That people don't realize. You can have more kids, right? The more kids you have, the less resources you have. And they don't understand that. They want to have that one kid that go to the NBA making $1 million a year.
There was this Kevin Samuel video. There was this Kevin Samuel video I saw, and the lady was like, first the lady said she's 43, and she said she's looking for a guy that earns $500,000 per annum. And Kevin Samuel busted into laughter, and I also busted into laughter. I was like, oh my god, but. And then, that's what she wants. It's what you want. Unfortunately, you can't get everything you want. All right. But what I'm trying to point out is she says she wants to have kids. I don't know. I think she wants to have like 4 or 5 kids. And she was like, and Kevin was like, yeah, to maintain each kid, like maybe on the average of $50,000 per child. And so, it's getting there. But then going back to this comment, he said marry before you carry. Thoughts?
People don't realize for women, the marry is your advantage, right? If you have this boyfriend or girlfriend, right, and you're having a child, right? If you have a boyfriend and you're having this child, right, that's only benefiting him, right? The marry is supposed to be your benefit, right? If you're married and he's not working, he's not producing, divorce him, put him on child support, right? That's the benefit. You get the benefit through court. Yes, let's say the term child support, yes, it is hurting us men in society, right? I can say that because there's a lot of men that are great fathers, right? But because of this child support system, right, they are listed as deadbeat dad, right? But I understand the process of the child support, right? Us men, that's what you get for getting married, right? The married part is the benefit for you women, and they don't understand that. But if you want to continue being that baby mama, hey, we can have all those kids.
Now I'm thinking of when you tell the modern woman, marry before you carry, a typical modern woman, what do you think her response would be?
All right, that's different. That is totally different because the modern women will develop a masculine trait, right? And as a man, I know if you tell me marry before I have my kids, I'm automatically going to be against that. But I'm automatically going to say you can't tell me what to do. I'm the man. I produce. I go to work. I pay my taxes, right? That's the most argument, right? You cannot tell me what I can do, right? But for a woman's perspective, I know this seems biased, right? I am the biased man right here, right? This is biased, right? But as a woman, you're not gonna have an advantage. You have all the leverage, right? The reason why that baby is born because you want it to be born, right or wrong. there's birth control, right? People say birth control is ineffective, right? But it's 99% effective, right?
I think it's effective. Like if you get rid of the, like if you have intercourse right now and you use the birth control pill in like 2 hours, it's effective. But if you wait till like 5 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, now that's when it's shaky. Like Plan B, for example, you got to use Plan B before 48 hours.
Yeah,
I think 48 to 72 hours before or after having sex. If not, you got to see a doctor. So, and this is and it's actually advantageous for the women now, and this is why women kind of have more options and more choices, because back in the days, in the prehistoric era, element era, when there were no birth control pills, and once a woman has sex with a man, it's pregnancy. It's just pregnancy. So that is why the society keeps the woman pure, because back then people don't have sex the way we have sex now. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you could just see two people somewhere on the road in the corner in the dark just having sex. Yep. Back in the days, you can't do that, because the moment you have sex, it's pregnancy. So it's just crazy how everything has changed. Now, talking about marry before you carry, that is such a traditional statement. It's not a modern statement, because marry before you carry means valuing the traditional form of being tied to a man before you start bearing children. Unfortunately, now women have birth control pills and stuff. So,
it is an advantage.
It's an advantage, actually. It's an advantage for the woman. And it's an advantage based on how they use it.
Yeah.
Because you can't keep going around and keep having sex with multiple people and keep using birth control pill and keep saying it's an advantage. It does something to you. It does something to you. It does something to the way it destroy your ability to pair bond with people, with men. Because
what people, like when it comes to sex, right? This is what I want people to understand, right? For a man, you're entering a woman's body, right? So basically, you're entering her, right? So as a woman, you're basically the door, right? You allow people to enter, right? So when you're having sex, you are in control. That's why it seems like we're going harsh on the woman, right? Right? In terms of saying, hey, you can't have all this sex, right? While the men can, right? But this is what people don't realize. As a woman, you're carrying the child, right? You have all of this sex, right? You have to still go through a 9 months of pregnancy, right? Within that 9 months, right? That's one cycle for one child, right? But within that 9 months, a man can produce 10 kids, right? Within that cycle, right? While you can only produce one, right? And that is an advantage, right? But this is your advantage. If you're marrying before you having kids, this is the advantage. You can literally get the man to do his job, his role, produce. That is the advantage. But if you're going around just having kids,
you can't keep going around and having kids out of wedlock and think you're doing
taking your advantage away.
Good, And that is why we have all these baby mamas come there looking pretty on Kevin Samuel's show and saying, I want a man making. I'm like, miss, me.
Hey,
are you being serious right now? You got like 3 kids, you still want some 6 figures? And that is when Kevin will be like, the men that you want, what do they want? You think they want to make their own family. They don't want to come into another man's family. They want to make their own family. And they're making this money because they know they can attract a younger woman who's much more fertile, who's much more cooperative, and can make a home, And what I was going to bring out was, laying your body down with multiple people, even men, not just women. if you're laying down with multiple people, it destroys your ability to pair bond. You won't be able to form
a real genuine connection
over time, because you don't trust anyone. You don't even trust yourself. Sometimes you break off a relationship because you're just paranoid. No proof, nothing. You don't even ask, are you cheating or whatever? You just break it off. It's almost like women are so paranoid these days, okay? It's almost like when a lady calls on Kevin Samuel's show and Kevin Samuel asks, are you in a relationship? Oh no, I broke it off. Who broke it off? I did. You could almost hear the joy in it for them that they broke it off. It's almost like they're happy to break.
Like you say, it's an accomplishment or a medal.
Yeah, like it's an accomplishment. And that shows how flawed we are. Because what shows a sense of maturity to me is your ability to be able to keep a relationship.
Yeah.
If you can't keep that, then you're not yet matured enough.
Yeah. But with that, right? Like in terms of accomplishments, right? Have you ever spoke to a person, like especially women, like when they say, have you ever been married before, right? The first thing they say, oh, well, I was engaged though.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing I hear. I was engaged, but I wasn't married, right? But they see the...
And then they ask them, why did you break it off? And then they say things like, I wasn't happy. Like, miss...
Life is not about happiness.
What is happiness to you, please?
Not happiness.
Because the same thing, one thing people need to get is everything's the same, okay? Forget about the face. Everything, every man is the same. Every woman is the same. I was reading this book by Rollo Tomasi, The Rational Male. Great book, okay? He's one of the most red pill guy ever. If you're not super red pill, don't read this book, because man, you will go deep into the red pill rabbit hole. Like you're going down the rabbit hole.
I try not to get.
Now I know some guys that one of my friends be like, bro, I'm red pill, but I'm not red pill. I'm like, stay that way, okay? Because when you go red pill, it fucks with your mind. It does something to your mind, But I try to just keep all this knowledge. I read all those books because I want to know about these things. I want to be able to make sound decision based on information. Okay. And where am I going with this? Rollo Tomasi said, don't think, when you see a supermodel on the screen, like let's say Kim Kardashian, for example, and then you see this lady on the street and you say, I want Kim Kardashian because she's a supermodel, she's on the screen, she's glamorous, and you ignore this woman that's right next to you. It's almost, there's a saying in my country that a bed at hand is worth much more than 10,000 beds outside there, okay? Because this is at hand. It's worth more than all these beds you're chasing after. Okay, so in this book, he said, they are all the same. That's women for you. Don't think, I have this girl, she's not a celebrity, she's this, she's always there for me. Nah, I want something else. The moment you leave her alone, you just lost something valuable. And you realize that the next woman you're going after, it's the same thing. She'll nag you, she'll be problematic, she'll put you through some whatever, she will have a moment, you will have your moment with her. It's the same thing. So instead of you running around, stay and make it work with this person. Try and make it work, okay? If maybe they're not willing to make it work, then okay, fine. And it's the same thing with men. When a woman says, I want a high value guy, I don't want none of this average or low value guy. This lady there was one lady I posted a comment on Kevin Samuel's video, and the lady said, and she was telling something. I don't know if she was talking to me, or maybe she was just saying. She said, maybe because she doesn't want you because you're a low value or average guy. And I was like, you can be both. It's either you're low value or you're average. You can be both. But where am I going with this? Whether you're a low value guy or you're an average guy or a high value guy, it's still the same thing. Just like what you said when you said something like, it's not even about the money. You could be a billionaire and still not be able to keep a woman. You could have 70,000 and still be able to keep your woman. It's not even about the money now. Okay. So the same thing you're running away from as a woman, the same thing you're running away from in this guy, the moment you go to another guy, you would see that same thing, which means it's not a problem with the guys. You got to look at yourself and see if you have to fix yourself. And that is why Kevin Samuel would recommend therapy at some point. Like, go talk to someone, okay? I don't know, maybe a psychologist or a shrink. Just talk to someone. And don't go talk to your friends, because your friend will help you out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're not going to help you out. I mean, I understand that, like, the reason why people say therapy, right? Because you're actually paying your money, right? The thing about people is when you actually pay, right? When you actually pay, and this is coming from your resource, right? You're going to pay attention to it. You're going to try to get the best value out of it, right? Like, I'm going to be real. I did therapy. I had a therapist, right? I stopped because at a moment I couldn't sustain it, right? But I still chose to do it, right? But that is still therapy, right? And the reason why I paid attention to it, right, is because I actually put my money to it. Yes, you can go to a friend, you can go to your family members, whatever, right? But they will give you information based on, like, their perspective of you, right? There's two different perspectives. There's their perspective of you and your perspective, and the truth. Three, actually, yeah, and the truth, right? There's three perspectives, right? But the therapy, they're licensed, they're educated, right? These are people that went to school. They don't care what you do in the next 2 hours, right? Unless you pay them, right? You pay people to focus on you. That's the main purpose of therapy. And I just wanted to clear that out, because I have a lot of friends that I keep telling them, hey, if you're going through this struggle, get a therapist. They're like, nah, I don't want to do this right now. I could just go to my cousin. I can go to my uncle. No.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. If your uncle is this super realistic dude that gives it to you the way it is and doesn't sugarcoat things, and he's like, and you trust his judgment, it's understandable, okay, if you go talk to him. But if it's someone if you're talking to people who are just like super being super careful around you, they try not to tell you how it is, they don't want to hurt your feelings and things like that, then you got to go talk to someone real that can really. So, marry before you carry, is that a green light? Is that a go? Or
green light?
Let me know what you guys think. Marry before you carry, or you know what, carry before you marry. Whichever. So let's go to the next comment. What do you have?
All right, I have one. It's from Lifelong Learner, right? And this is the comment that they say: kid dress for comfort, adult dress for outcome. Kid, I'm gonna say it again: kid dress for comfort, and adult dress for outcome. And the reason why this comment stand out for me, because I'll be real. As a kid, yeah, you pay attention to the Jordans, the new release sneakers. That's all you care for, because all of that is part of social media, right? You want to build your social following, right? You want to say, hey, I'm the coolest kid on the block, right? Or I'm the coolest kid in class, right? And that is satisfying, right? That is only for comfort, right? But what does that bring? That doesn't bring you more money. You're constantly wasting your resources, right? In order to keep up this facade, right? While adults, yes, they dress for outcome, because I keep it real with you. If you go to a business, right? What do you see? The employees are dressing suits, dress, business casual, right? You don't see in a real business. You don't see any employee dressing jeans. Yes, you see it in like a warehouse, basically, or a factory work, basically, right? But you don't see it in a business. And that's what I felt like that just stand out to me more, because mainly me being a kid, right? Now, I had to change my outcome, basically, right? I have to change my dress in order to produce the outcome that I want. What do you have on that topic, man?
All right, kids dress for comfort, adults dress for outcome. even though it looks so self-explanatory, I think it's I'm a very like the older you grow, the older you become, the older you get, the more you realize that a pair of $10 wristwatch that you buy from the street will tell you the same time as a pair of Rolex that you pay maybe $5,000 for. They do the same thing. Okay. And I've seen adults still go for a pair of Rolex. Okay. And that's fine. That's like, it now becomes preferential. Like, what do you want? Like someone like me, I wouldn't even care about spending money on designer. I don't, right from time, even right from childhood. I don't care about that. When it comes to buying equipment, I go for like the most expensive equipment. I go for like cameras and gadgets. I'm gonna buy like a desktop. I went into like the B&H and I told them I want the most powerful iMac that you have here. They were looking at me like, you crazy, dude. They were like, that's like 5,000. I was like, that's fine. I will put money in things like that because to me, I see it as a form of investment. Okay. I was like, I'm buying this so I can use it for the next 5 years. Once I buy this desktop, I don't want to think about a computer for the next 5-7 years. Okay. So, and if I go into the Nike shop to buy a Nike shoe, the first thing I ask them is, what do you have on sale? And then when they show me, I'm like, what's the cheapest shoe here? They'll be like, oh, the one from 2 years ago. That's like $40. That's on sale. But then the regular price is $100. I'm like, the one that's $100 and the one that's $40 gives me the same level of comfort because I'm not trying to impress nobody. And that is just me. It's my preference. I don't care about what people think. But a lot of people that buy designer do it to, like you said, to be like, I'm the coolest kid on the block. And some people like it. Some ladies, you could wear a pair of jeans and some ladies will be like, man, look at this dude. They want it, right? You could pull up in a Benz, and in fact, when you pull up in the Benz, it's hardly for a woman to just be like, to look over you, because they'll be like, man, especially even if they're with their boyfriend and you're like in the Benz, they might be like, man, look at this dude. It's difficult. Some guys, but I used to have this one of my co-worker back then. There's a young dude and he's driving the BMW, and I was driving the Volkswagen Jetta, and they'd be like, yeah, man, bro, I know you could buy another car, like change your car. I'm like, I'm fine, I just need something to move from point A to point B. And this dude would be like, no, I'm buying the most luxurious car. He was using the BMW. He said, I'm buying it because of women in general. And this guy gets ladies, which means women want it and they fall for things like this. Okay, so, and I've seen a couple of other videos that says, oh, if you want women to like you, of which that's one of the main things, the main drive behind everything guys and ladies are doing. Everything we're doing is still revolves around attracting the opposite sex. Okay, if you're dressing too cool, if you're dressing like a cool dude, it's because you want the opposite sex to find you attractive. You're not dressing super cool for like dudes to start for dudes to be attracted to you. I mean, fine, you want your friend to think you whatever, but part of it is to attract the opposite sex, right? So it gets to a point whereby you outgrow all of these things, and that's when kids dress, wait, what's the line again? Adults dress for comfort and kids dress to look cool.
Kids dress for comfort. Adults dress for outcome.
Yeah, kids dress for comfort. Adults dress for outcome. And that there's this video TD Jakes made. It's called Focus, or Getting into Focus, and it said something about a lot of people just having lots of dress in their wardrobe. And I don't know if you've come across people with like 50 dresses, and if they want to hang out, they'll still be like, I don't know what to wear. Like, you got like 50 dress in your wardrobe right now. What you mean?
Yeah.
You know? In fact, it's like the more option you have, the more problematic it becomes. If you have just one piece of shirt, that's all you wear. That's why billionaires wear the same outfit. If you see them, it's a t-shirt that has their company name, because you are reducing the stress of what would I wear today. They just wear the same t-shirt. If it's a Facebook, he's always wearing a t-shirt that says Facebook. Okay, they wear t-shirt because it's a brand, they're promoting their brand, and that's what they wear all the time. That's the outcome that they want, to promote their brand, you know.
And to stop their distractions.
The what?
To stop their distractions. Basically.
To stop being distracted by, well, because that's time you spend on what am I wearing today, you know. So it helps you to stay focused, okay? And I really buy into that, okay? Kids dress for comfort.
Yeah.
And adults really dress for outcome.
Yeah.
I think I'm an adult.
Yeah, we all believe we are.
Yeah, I can say that.
Everybody's a kid. Everybody's a kid.
Yeah, I'm a kid at heart too. I've been doing some childish stuff sometimes, man.
Man, you both, man.
And I enjoy doing those things. I won't even lie about it. Like, man, sometimes you just do it, you know, for the distraction that we're talking about, the escapism, because you don't want to be super tense all the time.
Yeah.
So let's see another quote here. Oh boy. I see some fun quotes in here. Let's see. Okay, look at this line. Looks like something that was spoken about. And it says, if the average man makes 40,000 this time, this time, to stop calling guys that make 50 plus 60 plus 70,000 average, because they are well above average. Oh, okay. This is kind of self-explanatory. It's just saying stop calling people that make 60, 70,000 average because they are above average, if the average man is making 40,000.
Hey, the women don't care. If it ain't six figures, it's average.
Yeah, man. Where's the six-figure thing coming from? Like, you see a lady, she's 18, and she'll be like, I want the guy that's making six. Like, where's this thing coming from?
I guarantee you, if you ask them what's the amount that is a six figure, they wouldn't tell you.
Yeah, they wouldn't tell you.
They'd be like, if I ask you what does six figure mean? Most people don't even know that's 100,000 a year. They be like, oh, six figures. I just hate hearing that word, because a lot of people say it, and when I ask them what is the amount of six figures, they be like, oh, 180, 100,000. I mean, not 100,000. They don't say 100,000, but they give me some other numbers. But now they say they want a six figure man, but they don't know what six figure is. That's what I just hate. All right. I mean, if you can't find one, right?
Wait, I found one. One second. Okay, look at this. Having argument does not equal abuse. These kids today think anything not positive in the relationship as abuse or toxic.
Oh wow, I love that.
Thoughts? Talking about toxic.
Yep.
Let me read it again. Having arguments does not equal abuse. These kids today think anything not positive in a relationship as abuse or toxic. So what's the difference between having an argument and abuse and let's say a progressive discussion that's not toxic?
An argument is any subjective, basically any criticism, but everybody can have an argument. If I say, hey, I want this, right? But this person wants that, we're gonna obviously argue, right? Because we want our point to get across, right? That's the main purpose of it, right? What people don't realize, they always say, oh, this is where relationship was a toxic relationship, right? Why was it toxic to you? Did it get physical? That's one that's when it becomes toxic. When it becomes physical. But no, based on you arguing with each other, that is not toxic.
I don't know. I think it doesn't need to get physical before it gets toxic. Even from your tone, you could tell, from someone's tone, you could tell that there's a shift. There's a way, and I don't know if this is true, and feel free to let me know if this is not true. There was something about the way a woman talks to you that I was reading, and I can't really remember where I read it from. And they said something like, if a woman is talking to you and it's like, and she's talking out of her breath, like it's breathy, that means she likes you. And if she's talking to you in super like straight voice, that means she's like almost verbally attacking you. Now, I don't know how true this is, but I don't even know how accurate this is. But let me know what you think about that.
I mean, I would have to look more research into that because I just don't want to give a false statement on that. But I believe, from my perspective, right, if a woman loves you, right, she will love to argue with you, but she wouldn't disrespect you.
How does that happen?
All right, a disrespect. When you're disrespecting somebody, you don't like. Is that like you wouldn't care for disrespectors, right? You cut them when they're speaking, right? When they're speaking, you get a line. You start verbally attacking them, basically. Right? That's the form of disrespect. You're verbally attacking somebody, right? And the last sentence will be physical.
I think, man, it's so easy for women to just disrespect a guy. And
yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even if we place, let's say this, right? If I place my hand on her shoulder, right, and then she presumed this as well, right? That would be considered toxic for a man. Like, it doesn't matter. Anything we do physically will be considered toxic. And that's the reason that's why I believe most men, like, we can't really, like, you don't hear men complaining about toxicity, being toxic. It's always the women, right? Because everything a man does, right? As a man, they look for these masculine men because they want a man that's masculine. They want somebody to, presume their dominance, right? Right? Preserve their dominance, right? But what they don't realize is, right? Every little thing, it could be a touch, a wrong look, a wrong stare, that will be considered toxic. But that's how it is, man.
Yeah.
Anything can be toxic. I can't with that shit.
I think it's because a lot of those things are not defined in the books, and it's almost at a point whereby, just like we said, when you ask a woman, why do you divorce? I divorce because I'm not happy. So her not being happy now is like, yeah, it's toxic because I'm not happy, so I had to divorce. And the court will be like, yeah, divorce him because you're not happy. And when she talks to her friends will be like, you're not happy? Then divorce him. Life is too short. Not knowing fully well that even if she marries someone else, she's still going to go through the same thing. So it's just funny. It's just funny to me how this whole thing plays out, and you just it's just crazy, honestly. It's just crazy. So for me, when it comes to today's, like, having an argument and having like a healthy discussion, that's having a healthy discussion that doesn't become toxic. It's something that people need to strive for. I think people should celebrate being together for longer times than me breaking it off when I wasn't happy. But into this world, we celebrate just breaking it off without even making an attempt to fix it.
The independence.
You know, the independent, like, yeah. And that's why whenever he says, who broke it off? And they say, I broke it off. You could almost hear like
the sense of relief.
Yeah, like I broke, like, yeah, it's me. I did it. You know, I'm in control. I'm like, no, it's not like that. It doesn't work that way, you know?
Yeah. But this is what people don't understand, right? This is the thing about America, right?
Mm-hmm.
America, right? I'm gonna keep it real. America do well when there's two sides competing. That is the goal. This is the capitalist society, right? People need to compete. The more you compete, the better results, the better innovation, the more things to come, right? So the reason why society have all of these rules, right, for divorced men, right? These rules that was basically enforced, that would basically enforce harsh punishment on men for not being there for the child, right? Because it gives that sense of, what's the word? It gives that sense of encouragement for women, right? Yes, you can divorce this man, right? You can take all his money, right? But when you're doing that, you don't realize you're being selfish. One, yeah, you are being selfish. You're depriving the child from their parents. You're depriving their child from their father so they can get that benefit, because the job of the father is to imply discipline, right? To give that discipline that child needs, right? So if you see it right now in today's society, right? We have a lot of out of control people. And these people are the ones that are constantly breaking the rules, thinking they're above the law, and they are in prison, right? And if they are in prison, that is taking money away from society, right? Yes, you can be all of this independent, right? You can do all of that, but you're being selfish. Being selfish.
All right, next comment. So we agree that, you know, it's not super toxic. We should be able to have healthy arguments and healthy conversation and move forward. Instead of breaking things up, find ways to make things work.
Yep. And don't be selfish.
Don't be selfish.
I got one from under that video. It said from this. Oh my God, these people. The names on YouTube. The Mother Box with 2X. Truth don't mind being questioned, but liars do not like being challenged. The truth do not mind being questioned, while the lies do not like being challenged.
Yes.
What do you have on?
Yes. You know, in fact, it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. And that's, the truth is like a lion. All you have to do is just release it and it will defend itself. Okay? So the truth doesn't mind being questioned. It can always defend itself, because once you say the truth, you don't need to defend yourself. It defends itself by itself. But once you tell people something and you know there's a falsehood behind it, you just want to shove it deep in their throat. You don't want them to argue, because the more questions they ask, the more vulnerable your stand becomes, and the more you stand the chance of being ridiculed, because now people know that you're false. And that is why the lie doesn't like being challenged. And this is even on a very societal level. If a politician, for example, is not telling you the truth, they want you to just take it, right? And it's also applicable in a relationship. If someone is not saying the truth, and I think this is from the videos, people that come on Kevin Samuel's videos, and you know, when Kevin Samuel asks a question, it's a straight question, but then they'll be like, repeat the question. Like, miss, we all heard the question. You can't tell me you didn't hear the question. But then, you know, they start playing all this funny things like, oh, they didn't hear the question, whatever. But that's not where I'm going. Where I'm going is, it's a factual statement, okay? lies don't like being challenged, and the truth doesn't mind being questioned, because that's just the way things will always be, you know.
I totally agree. You said the word out of my mouth.
You know. Yeah. So, in fact, I don't know if you're familiar with Jordan Peterson.
You mentioned it last time. I still haven't had the time.
Yeah, one of the rules in the book, in his his second book, 12 Rules for Life, is always say the truth, or at least don't lie. You know, that's one. And every time I remember that word, I'm like, this is very powerful. You know, it's just very, very, it's very intuitive and very applicable, you know, to what we do. All right, let me find another quote. Or do you have another quote with you that we can sample?
I have one more.
Okay, so let's have that.
One of them is from Duncan the Delinquent.
Okay.
Duncan the Delinquent. It says, women want exclusive benefit while being non-exclusive partners in relationship.
Say that again?
Women want exclusive benefit while not being exclusive partners in a relationship.
So they want exclusive benefit without being exclusive partners.
Yes, in a relationship.
Man. Now we'll go back to the comment where it says, don't be selfish. How you going?
I believe that's the nature of a woman, to be honest. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's the woman's nature. Absolutely true.
I do not criticize any women for being selfish, because that is in your nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. The problem that we have right now, right? The problem we're dealing with as men, right? You have average women, right? I'm going to say this on. Because I say I'm an average guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know my ranking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, average women, right? Because they have this implant, right? They can change the way they look, right? With makeup, they can change the way their butt looks with basically with surgery and everything, right? They believe just because they're able to elevate, basically, we're able to see the same exact woman, right? Have you ever went to Instagram, right? On Instagram, you scroll down, you see, cute face, butt, plant.
Nah, I unfollowed every woman like that, and I always tell all my friends, like, you gotta unfollow people like that, because once a woman posts a half naked picture or almost naked picture, and you're following her and you keep commenting and you keep saying you look good, baby girl, whatever.
Oh no, I'm not saying commenting. I'm saying you're constantly seeing that on.
Even if you're constantly seeing it and you just stay following her, that means you are approving that.
Yeah, but whatever social media follow or whatever that you follow, you see naked. Basically, you're seeing the same type of women, right?
Yeah, which is funny because you don't even have to follow them these days. Even Explore page could bring it to you.
Yeah, because that's how the algorithm works, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's constantly bringing you things, right? News feed, whatever, right? But you're constantly seeing the same women, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they all constantly want the same men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same women want the same men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you expect that one man to choose you out of all of these.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say this, right? Let's say if I have a dish, right? All of this is macaroni and cheese, right? Mm-hmm. I have 4 dishes with macaroni and cheese, right? But what will make me choose that one dish instead of the 4?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of them can have mozzarella cheese, the other one can have American cheese. It's based on it, right? It's basically a unique quality, right? So basically, the reason why I chose this quote, because I feel like women don't realize that, yes, you want an exclusive partner. You want that 6-figure man, that bodybuilder. You want that exclusive man, right? But when you're doing that, you're just giving him the basic dish. You're giving him the basic dish, but you want him to be exclusive. Is that a fair deal? Nope.
Yeah, and this is when, this is where the question of what do you bring to the table and what do you think this kind of guys want? Because what you want you want something that's highly, to get it, you have to compete, and what do you bring to win? Because you don't just sit down there and say, oh, I'm cute and that's it. All the women around this kind of people are cute. Okay, so it's very competitive. So what do you bring, to what do you bring to the table, and what are you willing to compromise in order to win this kind of guy?
Yeah.
The so-called high value 6-figure guy. That's crazy, man. It's crazy, man.
That's the life we live, man.
Gotta be high value these days, man. High value 6 figures.
Yeah, but listen, us as a man, we understand our role, right? We understand our role. We understand that we need to be that 6 value. Like, to be honest, people don't realize that only 10 to 20% of men are having sex with women, right?
Having what?
And yet, are having sex with women. 10 to 20% of men are having sex with
so what are the remaining 80% doing?
Listen, the remaining 80% are trying to be high value, trying to be that man, right? Or they're just dying alone. That's how it is. We understand as men, we understand our role, right? We understand you have to compete, right? In order to get the outcome that you want. The women, I don't know what it is. Society teaches women.
That reminds me of something. It's funny how the society just tells women you can have it all. You don't have to do nothing, no accountability, no responsibility. You could be who you want. You could be Queen Bee. You could run the world without doing nothing, without offering anything. It's so much pandering, like so much ass kissing.
Yep.
It's so funny. I met this lady once, and I was telling her, and I was like, my father would tell me things like, the job of a man is to provide for his family, to protect his family, and to empower his family. And then I asked her, what's the job of a woman in a relationship? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, you're not ready for a relationship if you don't even know your role first. Because all you will think about is, oh, I'm Queen Bee, I'm the queen, I'm the baddest, and that's okay if you're in high school. Okay, when you're going into like a relationship, reality, you gotta know what you're in this for, because it's either everything, you begin to resent everything because you're like, oh, I'm not doing enough, or maybe I'm not getting enough, because you don't even know your role. So you have no way to measure your success or your failure. All the things, all you think about is just that I want everything, I want it all. And that's some Disney fantasy.
Yep.
And
that is only attractive.
And disclaimer, this is not every woman, okay? It's some specific percentage of women. It's not all of them, and there's some people that I can vouch for, but it's a specific percentage of them.
But from a statistic point, right? From a statistic point of view, because we all know numbers don't lie. Right? Numbers will give you the range of where your answer is, right? The numbers don't lie, right? When it comes to that statistic, majority, right? I'm not saying all women do this. Majority of the women think like this. That is just crazy.
Well, woman nature, like you said.
Right? Woman nature is to be selfish. Man nature is to, as a man, you're able to share your resources. Produce, share your resources. Share it with your woman and your child. Yep. That's the nature.
So escapism. I think we touched on so many things, and we're able to tie it down to all these things happening in the society, even right from the individualistic level to the societal level. We're able to tie it down to it, and I like the way we we're able to, just tailor things down and even relate it to Kevin Samuel's video, because it's very important. I think it's something that will break us out of the cycle that we find ourselves into this society.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'll keep it real. I like COVID, right? The reason why I say I love COVID, right? Yes, I hate being in my house and I can't go certain places, right? But the reason why I say I like COVID is because for society, we needed this. We needed to be aware of this. And I feel like most people are becoming more aware. They're becoming more woke, right? And how to build their finance. What do they need in order to understand that tomorrow the world will end? What would you bring? What did you accomplish? Right? Were you able to mate with the opposite sex? Did you produce your wealth? Right? That's all the things. And because of a disease like COVID, we are able to sit down and discuss certain things like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So escapism, distraction is good for you, but only if you control it.
Yeah. Make sure you keep everything under control. Make sure you plan your distraction. If you want to go to the movies, make sure it's well planned out. Don't seek to escape from your responsibilities. If you have something to do, do it. And when you're done, you can now go distract yourself. So yeah, escapism has its good and its bad. It has its merit and its demerit, but focus on the merit, focus on the positive side of it, because yes, we all need it. We all, of course, dream and watch movies and do things like that. But before you escape, make sure you face your reality, okay? And this thing we're talking about, don't just be staring at women on the cell phone or whatever. Approach women. Whatever happens. If you get rejected, move to the next one. Unlike, I noticed that a lot of people are like brooded to like talk to just one or two women, and then when they talk to one person or two people and it's no, they get broken. They're like, oh, all women are evil. I'm like, no, all women are not evil. Those girls, it's just like, if you watch Kevin Samuel's video, okay, and Kevin Samuel would say, yes, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate yourself, and you can't use a number 7, and then you see them start struggling, number 6, number 5. That is what happens when a man approaches a woman, okay? In your mind, maybe you think you're a 10, and if you want to know your number on the scale, just approach a woman right here, right now. We'll put you on the scale right there, and you will know yourself that, okay, I thought I was a 6, but man, maybe I'm a 4.
Yep. And that rating is good because it helps you improve what you need.
And you're like, okay, let me go work out again. Let me go build my muscle, make my money, go improve.
If I'm dressing poorly, let me put on a suit.
Yeah,
something like that.
We get our numbers on the scales, and women are not used to getting their numbers on the scales because they don't approach. We approach, and the moment you approach, they put you on the scale, and women are not so nice when they're scaling you. Okay, and this is why Kevin Samuel is just like, this is reality. Everyone needs to be weighed on the scale. The same way she puts you on the 4 is the same way Kevin Samuel puts you on the 4. It's just facts. And they're like, but your rating scale is evil. Because there was a video, there was a post he made. It was like, ladies, what don't you like about my channel? They're like, the rating. Everyone's like, your rating is too mean. That's real life.
Reality.
It's just real life all over the place.
Yep.
Anyways, it's a great session. I learned a lot. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
Learned a lot. Okay. His Instagram is Asane. You want to tell us your Instagram? So I don't want.
It's Asane_Talla, ASSANE_Talla with the TALLA.
All right, guys, go connect with him. He doesn't bite. Ladies, connect with him. He doesn't bite. I guarantee you that. And if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure
you subscribe.
Okay, you guys are not. We know you guys are not. You guys are super intelligent. So yeah, subscribe, share this, spread out information. We love every single one of you, and remember to always be your best.